Hi, and welcome back to another Save It for Parts gadget review. Today we've got a power station from Opus. I'm not actually 100% sure how to pronounce that company name, but they've sent me this neat gizmo to check out. As with all my sponsored reviews, I try to be completely fair and honest, give you the positives and the negatives, and let you know how these products work. So this is the 600 watt power station, ideal for RVs, camping, off-grid use, home emergencies. We're actually going camping this weekend, so I think that's a perfect opportunity to give this a real-world test. So the main unit here has all the necessary power outputs that you need on the front. We've got the main display screen, we've got AC wall outlets, we've got DC 12-volt outlets, both these barrel connectors and a marine-grade car lighter adapter. And we have some USB outputs, both standard USB-A and USB-C. And each of these outputs can be individually switched on and off, as well as the main power for the unit. On the side, we've got a charging input, and you can give it 12 to 30 volts, so it can be charged with a car, it can be charged with solar panels, pretty flexible inputs there. And on the back, we have this panel that lights up. We have an AC wall adapter to charge it from your house. We have a DC adapter to charge it from your car or your boat. Power cable. Now you can also charge this unit quicker by feeding it wall power and USB-C power from a separate charger, so you can fill up the battery much faster that way than just using one charger at a time. The manual here is pretty decent, very readable, very easy to understand. I like to look at the manuals of these because sometimes they can be hit or miss with translations, but this one seems to be pretty good. And we have the technical specifications here in the back of the output and the battery information. So before we go camping this weekend, I'm going to charge this unit up. We'll start with the wall adapter. So it's getting 95 watts just from the wall adapter. I'm also going to give it some USB-C power so it charges a little quicker. So now it's charging around 110 to 112 watts. In a few hours, I think this will be all ready to go for our camping trip. I'll throw some links to the company website down in the description below. They make a variety of power station products, all the way up to a 4,000 watt home backup solution. This particular one is on the smaller end of their line and is nice and lightweight, so it should be easy to bring camping or throw in a car or a boat or wherever you need portable power. Well, this is going to be perfect because we picked up this USB-powered inflator so we can use it to inflate our bed. So once our campsite is all set up, we can use the power bank to recharge all of our modern nonsense. Cell phones, drone batteries, headlamps, any other gadgets that we brought along with us. Alright, it's been a couple hours, everything is charged up, and our battery bank is still at 92%. That's pretty good for charging up the drone batteries, the phone, and that headlamp. Now the power bank has another function on it, which I haven't tested yet, and that's this rear light. That's pretty bright, that lights up almost the whole tent. Here's the high brightness mode. It's actually hard for me to look at, and it lets me film in the tent even at night. The technical specs are also on the bottom of the unit, so we've got the battery type, it's a LiFePO 4, those seem to be showing up in everything these days, and it's about 595.2 watt hours. So if you ran this at the rated output of 600 watts, it would last less than an hour. Now the manual also says it can go up to 1,000 watts peak, but that's just for momentary usage like a motor starting up, so you could use it for a power drill. As I mentioned, the DC input is between 12 and 30 volts at 100 watts. The AC output is up to 600 watts, so 110 volt. The DC barrel jack outputs are 5 amps at 12 volts, and the car jack is 10 amps at 12 volts. The USB-A outputs will do 3 amps at 5 volts. Apparently they'll also do 9 volts and 12 volts. I personally don't think I've encountered a 9 volt or 12 volt USB adapter, but apparently they exist. And likewise, it looks like the USB-C will do all the way up to 20 volts at 3 amps, although for most things you're probably just going to be using the 3 amp 5 volt. The handle on this makes it pretty easy to carry around. It's not too heavy, at least for me. And the manual claims it weighs about 15 pounds. I threw it on a scale, and that looks approximately correct. It does have a little cooling fan buried in the side here. I didn't actually measure the decibel level, but it wasn't a noticeable amount of noise for me when it was charging or in use. I've come to the garage to see if this unit will actually run some power tools. Now, I don't actually have a lot of nice power tools. I have old, cheap garage sale tools. I don't have much for battery-powered tools, so it'd be nice if something like this could run my existing plug-in tools out on job sites or up on the roof or somewhere around the property where there's not necessarily a power outlet within easy reach. Now, since it is only a 600 watt continuous output, you can't run a really large tool like a cutoff saw or a reciprocating saw, but I think we could run our standard little drill here. This is only about a 4 amp drill, so it's nothing too crazy. I think it should handle regular wood bits no problem. As long as we're not bogging it down with a giant bit like this one that we've been using to put in garden bulbs. Now, if you do manage to overpower it, don't worry, you're not actually going to hurt the unit. It has a little automatic cutoff, and it will tell you if there's an error. It also works just great with our rotary tool here. Just make sure the tools you have draw less than 600 watts for continuous usage. Well, so far I'm very happy with this little power station. I like all of its features, and I haven't found anything wrong with it. It's definitely a little bit simpler than some other power stations I've seen. It doesn't have wireless charging, and it doesn't have an app to control it, which I think are just fine. I don't have a phone that does wireless charging, and I think it's silly to have an app for every single gadget you own, so personally, I wouldn't count either of those things as a negative. I appreciate a nice simple device, and this power station is very straightforward. It's very easy to use. It's got a single on-off button. It's got buttons to turn on each of the electrical outlets. It's got a power input. It's got a light, and that's really all you need, especially for a camping trip. It did very well on our camping trip. It charged up all of our gadgets. The light was really handy, and even beyond the purposes of the review, I'm actually glad we brought this on the camping trip. If you want to buy one of these for yourself, I will throw all the information down in the description, including links to the product and any coupon codes they give me. I hope this has been a useful review for everyone. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.